hit there,
There we go.
and we should be working.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening. This Guy, That Guy podcast.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some technical difficulties. Hopefully tonight's will be a little bit better.
Starting to learn a little bit,
Yeah, it's been a shit show.
to say the least.
Shit show to say the least.
Well, at least for old guys it is. It's probably, if I were 30 years younger, we could figure this out in
Oh yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely need some technical help, but I think that we've got it right now, and we got some asshole out there. It's probably your neighbor with his shirt off, you know.
Mowing the lawn with no shirt on.
Yeah, because that's just what he
You
does.
know, and we try to do this in our garage.
Yeah, yeah, and he's
you know,
helping
just-
us tremendously.
Yeah.
So
Getting some ambience noise
yeah,
there.
yeah. So
Let's get right into this. This is just two guys, amateur opinions.
That's right. We're not
Yeah,
professionals here.
Yeah, we're not. By all means, we're not professional.
No,
And our opinions aren't professional.
that's correct.
It's just our opinion.
That's right.
So we had a baseball game, which was 2 weeks ago. Which
yeah.
this was supposed to follow that, and
Yeah.
we ran into some difficulties.
Well, we've had to figure out the audio, and it's been a minute to try to figure it out. But I think we got some of that stuff taken care of. I know that we were working on getting some, being able to have people call in. So
Yes.
I think we have that taken care of now.
We do.
We also have where we can kind of be on location, which is awesome. Get out there and do some location stuff and
That'd be
record
nice.
it. It has video with it as well. That's kind of really what we wanted there.
We want a little bit of both.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to have a lot of different things going on.
We could
so
do just
that-
audio, but
Oh, yeah,
I
there
mean,
we
it would be nice.
I think you need to see our pretty faces. I mean, what can I say? You know, I mean, if you want to see the whole shit show, it's all right here.
That's it. You can
Yeah.
see who's talking.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you want to come up and talk to us, and you don't like
Yeah.
our views, come on up.
Yep, I think that's a good part of it. I'm not sure if the portion of This Guy, That Guy, kind of how that got started, was golly. Now it's been a couple years. I think they were 12U, 13U, maybe 12U baseball, and we were at a hot as balls baseball tournament. It was hot. I'm saying cooking hot.
Yeah.
And this guy shows up. Yeah, this guy shows up on a scooter, electric scooter, with his entourage. Shows up, and I had no idea who this guy was. And he, he could have sat anywhere, absolutely anywhere, but he sits extremely close to me. I mean, not, it's hot, so it's basically just touching, sweaty hot. As he's sitting there, his entourage is getting him unloaded, and he's obviously had something happen to his leg and wasn't able to walk, and he hobbles over and kind of like a pirate and gets set up in his wonderful recliner, and then he sits there and gets into his cooler and pulls out
An ultra.
an Ultra. And I look at him, and the look on my face must have just sent him into some sort of, what's the problem here?
Correct.
I mean, what?
Why are you staring at me? Because I have a beer.
And he says, where's the sign? Excuse me, where's the sign that says you can't drink a beer here? And I was taken back because I wasn't used to, being confronted, and obviously he wasn't from where we were, and I'm looking at the park going, there isn't a sign. And I was thinking is I'd like to have one of those. And he went ahead and shared, and the rest is kind of history because, the worst part about that whole thing was we never did figure out each other's names. And we used our kids and wives as a sounding board to find out, remember that guy or this guy? And this went on for several tournaments. But we always sat next to each other, but unbeknownst to us, we didn't know a name.
Correct.
Because that's just...
But
I wouldn't remember anyways.
I'm a pro at that, and I happen just to call people just random.
Hey you,
hey you,
yeah,
hey
yeah,
bud,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because you wouldn't want to be embarrassed.
No, I'm not gonna meet you 6 times and say, "Damn, I just don't remember your
You know,
name,"
but
because
this
that's
is-
a jackass.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that. But, the thing is, you're concerned about being embarrassed about not knowing someone's name, but the antics and shit that you do on a daily basis out in your life
Yes.
does not affect your opinion about being embarrassed.
No.
But just one simple thing, mind you, one simple thing
Yes.
will set you off
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be embarrassed.
That's-
Because God forbid, I didn't remember your name. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I do it all the time. That's the sad thing. I do it all the time. So
But you knowingly do this.
because I truly have a bad memory. I truly have a bad memory. So
Oh.
even like my kids, after I meet somebody, and we'll walk away,
Yeah.
and the first thing my oldest does to me every time goes, "What was his name?"
I have any
And
idea.
I said, "I have no clue."
Yeah. Well, how many times have you met him? That's what, about a dozen.
And,
A dozen times.
So, typically, I actually have a game plan. I mean, I figured this out, so I do have a game plan. The game plan is if I don't know your name, I'm going to be one of my family members,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
going to freaking introduce themselves
Oh.
for you to respond back your name. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in like Flynn.
Oh, there it is.
Just say I have my opening now. Now I'm okay. Now I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Now I can go into jackass mode.
Yeah.
I know your name.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't be a jackass and say,
I didn't know
"Man,
your name.
I've met you 6 times.
Yeah, I
and
can't remember
just
who you
don't
are."
know your name.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I totally understand. I think that I'm right there with you. Been there, done that. Actually did that to you. So, which has been pretty awesome. Let's get back to the baseball.
Baseball.
Uh,
Baseball. 4 games.
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
coming up.
No.
Oh, the past.
The past.
Yes.
2 on Saturday.
They weren't really. It wasn't a tournament.
There are 4 games.
It was just kind of a.
Their first 4 games they played in.
Listen to
just
this
say-
guy. Listen to this.
I know. I think he's getting closer.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah.
First 4 games, they have probably played in 4 months.
Yeah.
They did have a break. They had
Yeah.
a long break.
Yeah.
They should be practicing on their own, but nothing like games.
Yeah.
You can't replicate a game
No.
except in a game.
Yeah.
So
It was interesting.
it was.
The greatest part of that whole game was this, I thought, and this is just my takeaway, is how rusty these people can get.
Yeah.
It's amazing how rusty at playing that game at the level that they were playing at last year. And they were doing well. They did well.
Did okay.
Yeah, I thought they did well. From where they've grown. I mean, I'm talking, look at where they were at to
Sure.
where they are today. I think that they're doing well. How rusty that short time, because it's a short time that they're off.
It is.
And is it do you think it's because they've gotten taller, they're using heavier bats, or what is it that creates this inability to follow through and play at that level that they were at?
I think it's baseball. I think it's
Okay.
the game. I mean, it's no different than the pros. I mean, the pros they need spring training. I think the difference between, let's say, a child and the pros are a child typically will wait 7 days after a game to play again.
Okay.
A pro plays 30 straight days. So he has a horrible day on Monday.
Yeah.
He only has to remember that game for 24 hours before he's already back out there to do it, to hopefully not repeat
What they just went
what he
through.
did yesterday,
Okay.
to learn from.
All right.
And all that. It takes a pro. They say it takes a pro 30 days, and it takes a pitcher 45 days
Uh-huh.
to be game ready.
Okay. So, with that being said, let me ask you this. How is it that, parents, or should we call them spectators? Spectators, they have no qualms at all at going out there. They're not rusty at their opinion.
Oh no.
I mean, it's like muscle memory for them. I mean, They can remember every bad call. They remember everything that's going on. They remember what their kid didn't do or did do. It's amazing to me that as a parent, I do the same thing. I'm thinking, oh, you're better than that.
We're right back at it.
Yeah,
Right where we left off.
Yeah.
4 months ago.
yeah. We're not rusty at any of that. We don't forget any of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
It is shockingly amazing.
Yeah.
You would think we were rusty at what to bring, how to set things up,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I will give credit to one of the coaches.
Yeah.
He said that he saw us setting up, I think, on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And we set up a canopy.
Oh, yeah.
And we put one guy per pole.
Oh, yeah.
On
Yeah.
duty.
Yeah.
And the coach said, it's high winds.
Yeah,
You know,
it's-
that thing's going to buckle up and fly away. And I said, hey, we got one guy per pole.
Yeah. Holding it down.
Don't worry. We got this covered.
Yeah.
okay?
How'd that work out?
Well, that canopy ended up in a trash can by the end of game 2.
Exactly.
So,
and in looking at that event, there were a few things that did happen. Some people weren't doing their job.
right.
I mean, we obviously
No
there
names.
was no, absolutely none. I won't call any of them out unless I have them on here.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it wasn't the two that are sitting here.
We could let them call themselves out.
That's right,
We
because-
know who had what laid.
That's right. Because I'm going to tell you, I truly don't feel it was anything that you and I did.
Correct.
I truly think it was the other individuals that were supposed to be holding it down,
Right.
and they just failed. And the canopy did fly.
Right.
Fortunately, it didn't hit anyone. It just flipped over and broke one of the arms off. So
I'll tell you what I found amazing out there, especially that day. So we're sitting maybe 10 feet from behind home plate,
yep,
and we got about 5-6 people
Yeah.
in our group,
yep,
and we're watching the game from behind home plate, and there's a gate there. And we're staying there. The game 1 ends. Game 2 comes in.
oh, different team, yeah,
Different team comes
Yeah.
in, and a family feels the need
Yeah.
to sit right up in front of us,
yeah, yeah,
in front of the fence,
yeah,
like
as if there wasn't anybody behind.
like we need to be against the fence to own that
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
Let's say the viewing real estate.
Yeah, and mind you, it's not stadium seating.
Correct.
This is just flat concrete.
That's right.
So it's not like we're elevated or anything like that. And the folks that sat down in front, it was like, move your head
Yeah.
or move your body.
Yeah. Well, you guys can you guys move away?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I like these
Yeah.
front row seats.
Yeah, yeah,
See, and I consider the seats we had front row.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
want to be against the fence.
yeah.
I don't.
Oh, I
think that works.
understand it, and because when you do start chiming in, it's better off probably not having any of the players hear it or the umpires,
Umpires.
because I knowing very well it's kind of just a practice.
Right.
It's a practice game, and
We have this kind of comments.
yeah, and
like we've done here.
umpires have it hard. I mean, they got a hard life.
They
But
do.
when did that's something I want to lead into?
There we go.
When did umpires start interjecting themselves into the game? Has that been an always thing? No, I'm not just talking baseball. Let's go through umpires. Let's go through some, line judges. Football. Let's look at the whole arena. I don't want to call out one group
Right.
because that's not fair.
Correct.
So when did they start interjecting their opinion or taking part in the show,
Correct.
changing the show? When did that start? Can you pinpoint that, or is it just kind of always been that way, or is it worse
No,
now?
I first of all, I think it comes from not as thick as skin.
Oh,
I think you have to have a thick skin to be an umpire,
I
or
think,
a true umpire, let's say.
Yeah.
And I think what the theory might be a little bit like maybe seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you can strike 1, strike
Yeah.
2, or strike
Yeah.
3, you're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't have to have any more conversation than the rules.
There you are.
Just
Hey, and I understand. I mean, you watch it professionally. You see umpires having interactions with other coaches and other players. I mean, I get that. Because passions get high and emotions get high, and the adrenaline starts going, And I understand that part of it. The part that is just absolutely blows my mind that you have participants in as spectators, they start getting into it.
Yeah.
And it's kid baseball. It's just young kids out having a good time, building camaraderie. It's the sport that's the team activity. It's all of that the way that I'm seeing it. Team building.
Building personalities,
Yeah.
building young men.
Yeah.
But to your point is, I get it. Everybody wants to emulate the pros.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But the pros actually have something at stake.
Oh yeah.
And that is their career,
Yeah.
their livelihoods, their money, how they feed their families, and all that. They actually have something at stake. Come back to a 12-year-old game, a 13-year-old. There's nothing at stake here. Absolutely nothing. Like I told you before, there's no scouts in the stands,
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no scouts.
Yeah. I still want to
the-
see that one day.
Yeah, I'm going to when I
Yeah.
feel the right need. I'm going to remind them.
Yeah, you're going to
that
jump up and literally go down there and say, "Oh my gosh."
I don't see any scouts here. No,
Yeah.
you guys can all relax. Don't worry. Your kid's not going to the big leagues tomorrow. No one's bringing them up. No one's. The Padres ain't going to call them up tomorrow and say,
Oh.
"Man, I need you."
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No
And- and it's
not
okay.
No one's recruiting from 12 and 13-year-old. No
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
There's no coach from the local high school out
Yeah.
there saying, "Man,
Yeah.
I can't wait to
To see this guy.
or that guy."
Oh
out there." You know what
God,
I mean?
yeah. This guy and
It's
that
not
guy.
going to happen.
Yeah.
They're actually developing out there. It's about
Yeah.
development, and that if you look and if you can appreciate the fact that they're out there, and all you want from them is development.
Yeah.
Are they getting better than they were yesterday?
Exactly.
Are they better than they were last year?
Yeah.
And are they better game to game in decision making?
Yeah.
If you're doing
Yeah.
that, you won.
Yeah.
You're a winner. Go to the freaking game, buy your nachos, buy your overpriced nacho, buy your overpriced hot dog,
Yeah.
because that's actually training for you as well, because you buy an overpriced nacho at the Little League field, overpriced hot dog at the Little League field. When you go to the pro field,
Yeah.
you're going to buy an overpriced hot dog, you're going to buy an overpriced nacho there.
That's right. So, and that kind of leads off into something else that I find when you start speaking overpriced. Baseball bats. And I've seen lots of videos out there, on my kid having this bat or that bat, and the guy at my house, I got to have this bat, and I got to do this with it, and does it really make them a better player? The better bat, the more expensive bat. I mean, stop and think about when I was growing up, and I'll date it a little bit. We didn't have aluminum bats. I mean, we had Louisville Slugger wooden bats.
Sure.
And basically, the guy came out got it out of the trunk of his car. It was most of the time it was a green Army duffel bag or Marine Corps
sea
duffel
bag.
bag, a sea
They
bag.
call them sea bags.
Yeah, and so he brings that out and literally dumps it right in the infield and says, who can play what. I mean, it's
10
got
balls, 5 gloves.
it's got gloves, helmets, it's got it all. I don't even think there was probably a helmet in there. I think we were old enough that we had to have helmets, but and I know that the game develops. And the game gets faster and it gets better and they have better fields and all of that. I'm not saying that what we did when we were kids was a great thing or a bad thing or whatever. It's amazing to me that they went from the wooden bat to the aluminum bat and then wait till you're in the pro. To go back to the wood bat. What is that? Why is that? What's your opinion on that?
Well, bats are really good. And bats make people feel good.
Okay.
When you hit the ball hard and it goes to the fence or
Yeah.
it goes over the fence
Or makes a certain noise.
Certain bats have certain noisemakers.
Yeah.
But
But it's still, at the end of the day, it's a round ball.
hitting a round bat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And it's with practice.
Maybe it's maybe we can blame this on what was that, Steve, Greg Maddux and the other guy at the time when he said chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah. All right.
You know, and maybe that's they're the ones that caused the bad era.
Okay.
Because everybody wants to see a home run.
Yeah.
Everybody thrives for it.
Sure.
The kids thrive for it.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
work hard for it.
They do.
And they want to see it, and you're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? That's the difference. I mean, we go from 13U using a bat all the way through high school, let's say, and then that same bat's gonna carry you through college.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the pros, you're gonna be back to a wood bat, and now your ball's gonna fly a third of the way.
Yeah.
So you gotta have some more muscle,
Yeah.
or
Well, it just changes the whole development of the game then at that
That's
point.
correct.
Okay. Interesting.
But I think where you were going with your point is that we got kids in the dugout. We got 10 kids in the dugout. We
Oh,
got every kid has a $400 bat.
Yep.
We got $4,000 invested in bats
Bats,
in there,
and you have
and we got
gloves
kids
and-
watching strike three.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
Just so you know, if you watch it, it won't go over the wall.
Yeah.
And zero chance of going over the wall.
You got to swing.
Go swing.
Yep. And that's another thing, another piece of equipment that I've seen this year, the Robin Egg Blue sliding glove.
You
And I know there's new fashion,
Absolutely.
but these guys show up with armor.
Correct.
I mean, it's like they're
Oven
going
mitts.
oven mitts. They're going into battle.
Yeah.
And this year we noticed out there at this warm-up tournament that Baby Blue or Robin Egg Blue was in, and I know that we had some conversation about Robin Egg Blue. So for anybody who lives in Michigan, they can identify that. And I know that you're never lived there and weren't part of that, but that is a color. We're going to just settle that right now.
Okay, that's a color. Robin Egg Blue
It
is a
is,
color.
and that was the color on that kid's
If I
hand
go
with
to
that
the-
oven
If I
mitt.
go to the 64 color crown chart, what color is that going to be?
See,
I think
right
it's gonna
away-
be- I think it's going to be sky blue.
But see, now you're just starting up again.
I'm just.
It has nothing to do with your color chart. It has everything to
It's
do
not
with
my color chart. That's the world's color. That's the
No!
Did you not have those when you were a kid?
Well, did you not ever find a color? And that's the color that you thought it was because
But I didn't rename it.
It's not renaming. I'm not renaming anything. I just said Robin Egg Blue. That's the color of the egg.
I've never seen an egg blue. I've seen a brown one. I've seen a white one. And I think that's all you got.
No, it's Robin Egg.
Then someone food colored it.
No, they did not come out of it.
Easter.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not even gonna go there.
Come on.
There's no Easter.
Come on.
It wasn't Easter. It's literally.
No bird is shitting out a freaking sky blue egg.
Yeah, and it looked just like that oven mitt that kid was wearing to slide. I swear to you, that's what it looked like.
Did it produce a little bird, or did it just?
I have no idea. So I think someone copied it. They copied the color. They copied it. Can't you just go with they copied it? No, you can't. You got to be just that guy.
I just can't get there. I want to. I want to get there. But I can't.
The sad thing is that this was a whole conversation at the ball field,
It was.
and it's just carried over to here.
But I can't get there.
Well-
I guess till we go flick a
Oh,
little
God.
robinette off the freaking nest, and I get to see the egg. And
If
it's sky blue.
if anyone out there can actually find that, and they can send us some information on that,
Sure.
so that I can prove this guy wrong. Because that's what it's come down to.
No,
now,
it's-
that I just feel like I have to. Prove
I don't
it.
think it's a right or wrong thing.
It's
a disbelief thing. How about that?
Well, because you're going into uncharted waters.
I'm
You're going
I've
into
seen-
uncharted waters. You're afraid to broaden your horizon on the fact that they're an egg of all things
For a
to be
birdie.
blue.
I've seen a dove egg, and I've seen a pigeon egg.
But you've never
They're
seen a
both white,
robin.
but they're both white.
But you've never seen a robin. It actually has a blue egg.
I think a kid colored it with food coloring. He dipped it in a little doohickey and put it back in there. And
I'm sorry.
You happen to see it. Maybe your big brother did it. I don't know.
I have no idea, but I've seen it. So we're going to move on.
All right,
Let's just
that's
move
fine.
on because somebody's going to get in. They got to get in. They got to let us know. So put some comments in there. We might be crazy. I have no idea. I think it is a little crazy, but there is an egg from a robin.
If you take a picture of an egg,
That's
please take a video of you flicking the mama bird out so I can make sure that I see the mama bird being flicked out
Lord.
and the egg underneath her, okay? I don't want you to take a picture
Oh,
of your
so
house.
you're telling me the only way that you will believe that it's from a robin, that there has to be a robin with that egg.
Has to be a mama robin right there sitting on that sucker.
Okay.
Keeping it warm, whatever it does.
All right.
Grab her by the ears. I don't care. Pick
Okay.
her up.
Okay. All right. Well, let's we're gonna have some people research that. I wish that
Jamie was here?
Yeah. Why is he not with
It
us
would be
tonight?
nice if Jamie was here. He could jump on a computer.
Yeah,
and,
he could have looked it up.
He could look at me and said, show a picture, get an image.
Yeah.
Not here. Yeah.
So there you go again.
Yep, I know.
That just leads you right back to the problems we have with our people.
That,
You
that
know.
this is a budget show, and we're still making sure we have the correct free employees.
Yeah.
In
Very
place
true.
at the right time.
Yeah.
At
And
the
guess
right
what?
place.
He's not here.
Yes.
So he's probably off playing some fantasy
No,
Fortnite game.
You could be correct. He could be playing a fantasy thing. I did hear that he wanted to go buy a Yeti
Really?
suitcase.
They have a suitcase?
Yeti has a suitcase now. Yes.
I mean, they got chairs, they got coolers. I mean, they
Yeah.
got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
but why
they-
wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have a
Yes.
suitcase?
Yes. And
And what is this for? Does he plan on going on a road trip?
traveling. I don't know.
Oh, he's going to travel now.
I don't go to a hotel. I don't know.
Is he a? I didn't think the man ever did anything but go to work and come home and hang out with old people.
Yeah. That's pretty much the gist.
I mean, he does. He likes to hang out with old people.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
He's
and
an old soul.
He is.
You
I'll give him that. I think it's fantastic.
It might serve him well later in life. Maybe not now, but later in life.
Yeah, because he's learning a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every Thursday night he comes home with a wealth of knowledge and information that he can put in his suitcase and his tool bag, that he's able to go out and do his job because he's gotten some information from some old guys.
Pass it on.
Yeah. And that just leads us into what we call a wonderful thing that you've introduced me to. And I know this is something that you've done for many years, is that you, and it's actually given me permission to do it, because I just, I just never would go out. So on Thursday nights, you have a group of guys get together, and anyone can come. It's anyone who wants to go. It's just out there for Thirsty Thursday. We'll all get together at some tavern of some choice.
Drinking establishment
Yeah.
with TVs
Yeah, and watch some game and just talk about life.
and nothing.
Yeah, basically nothing.
A bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Once again, hence the show.
So, yeah, this guy, that guy. Yeah, I think you're right.
Uh,
I think you're exactly right. So that has been a blessing. So how long were you doing that when you were out in the great state of California where you were living? Did you do that out there?
I did that. I did that for a long time.
Oh, did you?
It's
Yeah, it's been kind of a tradition for you.
probably been doing that for 15 years.
Really?
13 years.
Damn.
It's always been Thursday night. They always said Thursday was the new Friday.
Oh, all right. I wondered how you
so-
picked the day. So
Yeah, Thursday was the new Friday. And
Yeah.
I guess Friday became the new Saturday.
Yeah.
And then.
okay. So because it's it's pool, it's darts, it's
Correct.
It's a game. If it's hockey, if it's baseball, if
Sure.
it doesn't matter. And the only thing is you come there and you have a good time.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
If
And
you've got something on your chest you want to get off,
Yeah.
go ahead. No one's going to judge you.
No.
We
No.
we
Oh, I think we're pretty
might
hard.
make fun of you.
Well, there's a lot of
You're
that.
not going to get off scot free.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
But
No. I think everyone is a target.
yeah, and there was no one's safe.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter because I mean, if you are a call-in or a no-show, that's painful.
That is,
Trust me.
especially when we come back next week.
I did it one time, and it was painful.
It can be.
It was a very painful experience for me to humble myself to the fact that I wasn't there. But on the other hand, you struggled with being there.
I do.
Yeah, you you have a hard time as of late. You've
I
missed
am
a few.
not perfect by all means.
No.
Shockingly. You know,
I'm surprised that you're admitting to it.
Yeah, well, you know, I know I'm the self-proclaimed. I'm not just the president. I'm a member of the club.
Well,
but
trust me, you brought it, you own it, and you don't show up, and it's well noticed by all that you're not there. So it's difficult when you're not there to come back in the next Thursday because you know that you're going to get the business.
Absolutely, I come prepared.
You're going to get the business.
I actually might bring in pre-recorded material that I arrived with in my head.
Okay.
You know
all
what
right.
I mean?
So you've prepped.
Yeah, I prep if I miss something, I go, okay.
Okay.
I'm coming in. I got to make sure I do this. I got to, know, there's deflection tactics. I mean, when you're a pro at something.
Well, you've been doing it a lot longer than I have.
So, you know.
So I understand, and I guess actually I've seen that with you. I've seen some pretty crazy things since we've started this. For instance, everybody brings something to the table.
Absolutely.
You know, some bring guests. We've had some really great guests. Some old people.
Absolutely.
Like in their 80s. We've had those
Absolutely.
people show up. And, you know, an 80-some-year-old guy shows up with me. And he's probably what? You know, he acts like he's maybe 15, 16.
On occasions.
Yeah. Yeah, he shows his ability to be a small child.
Right.
And
I've had to zip his jacket up for him.
yeah, you did. You zipped his jacket up for him. That's right. I forgot about that. You did. You did. Yep. He's helped me navigate home from our adventure.
Sure.
On occasions. Ryan, he's pretty consistent with bringing a guest.
Sure, friend.
And and that poor guy, you know, he not Ryan, but his friend realizes that it's a bunch of old guys.
Right.
Yeah, in a hurry because this cat's pretty young, so he's in his early 20s and. He's
in his mid-20s.
Oh, he's in his mid-20s.
one.
Oh, all right. Yeah, great.
he's-
Oh, man, because he's a good guy.
Yes.
He's a good friend. I mean, that's something else. Even the 80-year-old guy asks about that guy. So,
Right.
Because he's always asking, you know, hey, it must have been an impact for him because he always asks, you know, what's going on, you know, Thirsty Thursday. And even my mom got into it because, you know, we were out and there was the big guy and you, and she says, you know, is this your son? Well, that was the greatest day ever. You know, that's what we needed.
Yeah.
I needed that because the look on the two of your faces was priceless because it's like, Mom, that's not his son. That's our friend.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I says, well, I'm sure that Dennis would appreciate that, but Anthony.
I still don't. I look at that. I'm trying to think. You know, does she think I'm that old?
Yeah, I think that.
And
I
she
think
thinks Dennis is that young.
yeah, Dennis is just that young.
And
I mean, literally, Dennis
I
is just
look.
Dennis looks just that young, and you act younger, but act just as old.
Correct.
I mean, I don't know how you do it. You do it at the same time. It's amazing. It's
Well,
amazing.
It's amazing. I'm second oldest in the group.
That's true.
That wasn't planned. I was supposed to be the youngest.
Yeah, well, you're not.
I try to. I'm very selective. and
Well,
so
I'm sorry. Your recruiting efforts have been really poor.
Very poor.
Yeah,
but
because
still turns out.
Yeah, it does.
But yes.
Yeah, and then you brought a friend in that actually moved here from California.
Yeah, I did.
And did you all do that out there, Thirsty Thursday, together out there?
Josh, not with him. No.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, all right.
Because at that time when he
were y'all moving at that point?
no,
or-
no. I probably knew him for a couple years for that. But
Oh, all right.
at that time, I was doing Thirsty Thursday. It was a pool league.
Oh, all right. So you were actually physically going out and doing something other than
Just
bullshitting
sitting
your
and
life.
talking,
Yeah, bullshitting your way through
you,
life.
Yeah, you start off. You arrive a couple hours before your games start, so you
okay.
get that 2 hours of
Okay.
bullshitting in.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you got to warm up. Let's
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
Got to make sure you don't tear your bicep shooting pool.
Oh God, yes. God forbid, if we do that.
But yeah, you do that, then
Yeah.
you play pool.
So, how many turns when you're driving do you make when in the old days? Because that was a big controversial thing that we had.
Yeah,
Recently, not recently, since we started, that one of our wonderful members decided that they didn't want to go to certain establishments unless you only made 2 turns.
2 turns was the limit.
Yeah, 2 turns. And I never heard that before.
Them either.
I've never heard that. Like,
Yes.
if I pull out my driveway, that doesn't count. But if I go down the street and take a right
That's correct.
and then take another right, then that's 2 turns.
It's 2 turns.
Yeah. So it's amazing that somebody actually came up with that.
Well, yeah, because I don't think anybody has a bar within
2 turns
of their house.
Yeah.
I
I
did-
say Uber if you think you're going to go into it or get a ride by a friend,
Yeah.
because if you got to do more than 2 turns, then I don't think we're gonna. I think maybe that's just a way to not participate. But
Well, if you have to start thinking that way, it's just not in the cards.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, because obviously the individual at that point made the conversation and said that. It's never ever. It's always brought up because it's. We always say, "Where are we going?" Well, we're going to go here. Well, is it more than 2 turns?
and maybe he owns one of those old Thomas Brothers maps, and he's looking at it. And,
Very true.
I lived very close to the bar in California, and I was when you said that, I was trying to count the turns, and I was like, okay, 1 out of there, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4. So I was 5 turns away. And
Oh, that wouldn't count here.
And that was considered that was a 3-mile ride.
Yeah. So in your past, just this, I like this one here because this has been brought up too, because it's just the guys that are going out, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that we frown upon any of the wives going or
No.
girlfriends or anything like that. That's not it at all. But have you ever run across where you were going to a place and then being confronted by someone that says, well, that's my place. I was going there before y'all. So Thursday is out for you.
Oh.
So Thursday's out for you. And I'm not going to say no names.
Sure, yeah,
and there's no names with this.
Never.
So this was actually a situation.
Yeah.
So they were trying to say that was their place before it was where we went for Thursday.
Gotcha.
And so it was almost as if it was an in for this individual to come.
Sure.
And she shows up, which is awesome because she was welcomed. But there was definitely some conversation about it, like, oh,
It's it becomes very simple, okay, and that is that it's Thirsty Thursday
yeah,
when it's just guys.
yeah,
If 5 women show up, 5 wives show
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
it is no longer Thirsty Thursday.
Okay.
It is now a gathering
Of-
of couples.
oh, all right. But they were the whole idea was that was their spot,
Yeah,
and I agree, it was.
you know.
It was. That was their spot, and it was Thursday night, and that's what they did.
They went there before that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I honor that. And the only problem that I had with it was, we just decided that maybe it was time to change venues, and we can
Well,
we can do couples things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like a venue with more TVs, anyways.
There you go.
I get it. More TVs cost more money.
Yep.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
going to get a $3.50 mixed drink.
No.
At this
No.
or at the new establishment or whatever.
No,
but
absolutely
If
not.
money is the key to this, then things got to change.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't be going on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
If that's the deal breaker for you.
Yeah. Or just, go out with couples.
Yes,
But I'd rather go with the Thursday thing because it's been a lot of fun.
it has.
And
It's good.
it's good camaraderie and
It's getting
it's
better. I think
yeah.
soon we're gonna get more members.
Oh, I mean there's
It's
guys that are
interesting.
showing up even
We got floaters.
Oh yeah,
got
but
floaters.
they've committed. They
Yeah.
actually made commitment that we got to do it. They got to come at least once a month, which is pretty
He
impressive.
try to change things, yeah. And,
Yeah.
he keeps doing that all year long. He might end up with a fat head.
So what'd you all do this last weekend? You went hog hunting.
I went hog hunting. Yeah,
That was your first time doing that.
That was my first time
In Texas, ever.
ever,
All right.
ever. And not just in Texas.
In your whole life. Okay.
We didn't
so,
get anything, but it was nice to see how they go about doing it, the experience.
Okay, so what's their secret that they do? Because I've done it.
Okay.
I've done it before. So what was your thought?
The local Texas hillbilly shows up. Okay. He pulls up with a big truck, towing a Can-Am 6-seater.
Okay.
With a bed, a lift bed in the back.
Oh
and
no
he
way. Okay.
Gets all his equipment out. He gets out all these rifles. Every rifle has a suppressor on it.
Okay. All right.
I'm like, holy cow! Every rifle has a thermal on it.
Oh, nice. So this guy's serious.
So this is crazy serious. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So he shows up, 4:30, and we're not gonna go hog hunting until dark. So you're not even planning on hog hunting until 8:39.
Okay.
So he's got prep, and then he talks to you and talks to everybody. Then you kind of like eat your dinner, and then you go back to get ready to go hog hunting.
Okay.
But before that, he has another partner show up. That guy shows up with 4 or 5 more weapons with suppressors on them and
So he's
thermals.
serious.
Oh, but this one shows up with a drone,
Oh, all right. Good. Okay.
and they got my attention now.
Wow.
And I said, "I have a drone, just like that." He says, "No, you don't." And I said,
Is he calling you a liar?
"Pretty much." I said,
How'd that go?
"Well, hold my beer."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I do have that one. I actually have that exact drone." He says, "Yeah. Mine has a $6,000 camera. What about yours?" I says, "I don't have that one.
No, you don't have the camera.
I don't need it." He goes,
Wow.
"I have a thermal camera on my drone."
Oh, you do.
No, he
Oh,
does.
he does.
Oh,
Oh, God.
no. I got the regular drone
Okay.
for the normal people.
Yeah. So he's got his thermo that he can send up and go spot these animals
it
before
gets dark, and
And away he goes.
He says, "I'm ready." He throws that drone in the sky and searches a 1-2 mile radius, and he's looking for hogs.
And-
I'm sitting there looking at his video screen, and he's like looking and just peeking over his shoulder, pretty much. That guy can tell a coyote from a deer to a cow to a hog by just looking at the length of it and the neck.
Wow. And you never saw anything.
Never saw one hog. He saw deer, coyotes. He even saw a raccoon. That's a raccoon. I'm like,
Holy
Okay.
moly.
and of course cows and
Yeah.
everything, but didn't see any
No hogs.
So
Huh.
he did that. He did that for about 4 batteries, and each battery probably has like a 20-minute life.
Oh, okay. All right.
So and he kept checking different areas. We were on a ranch that had 2,500 acres.
Huh. That's a big
So
place.
he was searching the whole thing. For
Wow.
They had even fed before. They had put food out before.
Oh, all right. Okay.
trying
And nothing.
and still
Not this
so
time.
We
Was
did-
it weather? Did weather factor? I mean, was it
No.
too warm, too cold, too hot?
No, I thought it was cold, but I mean, I don't
But
think that's a
nothing. There
factor.
just wasn't anything. Nothing happened.
He said that he said things changed for him after the big freeze in 2021. He said he thinks all the hogs started going up north.
Oh, so they migrated.
He said they migrated. He said ever since then he used to never strike out, and said now he strikes out a lot.
Well, for some of those ranchers, that's a good thing because they are a nuisance.
Right.
That's a lot of their and no matter where you go, and you have to deal with these hogs. I mean, it can be in Texas, it can be in Michigan. I'm sure that they have these issues, and the javelinas in California. I mean, whatever. These were brought into these areas. They weren't. This is not something natural. These hogs weren't natural to the area, so this is something that was brought in. Like in Michigan, these Russian Razorback hogs were brought in for whatever unknown reason. They were just brought in, and they breed so quickly. So I did a hog hunt in Michigan, and it was in January. So think of snow.
Oh, okay.
So a friend of mine lived south in the southern part of Michigan and called and said, "Hey, I really want to go do this hog hunt. Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Let me research and find a place that we can go." Well, lo and behold, there was a place that we could go, and so I set it up. I said, "Yeah, I got you. It's going to be about $125 a person," and there was 3 of us. And it was on a Saturday, and the guy gave me the directions to get there, and we're just supposed to drive up there and meet this guy on his land. So in Michigan, it's all forest, though. You can't see through the forest, and there's a lot of snow. I mean, there was, banks were pretty, 3-4 feet high driving there. So we're driving down this road, and lo and behold, we drive by this place, and there's a hog hanging in this tree where they had just butchered it that morning that we got there was early. So, well, that's got to be the place. So we pull in, hey, because there's nothing for miles. So we pull in there. Yep, this is the place. And come on, guy, how many guys you got? And I thought we got the 3. Oh, all right, 3 guys. He says, come on over. He shows us around. They got dogs that have armored suits on because they send these dogs out and all that. And I said, we don't want the dogs. We just want to go out, and we're going to go hunt these. Well, he says, well, we had one was killed this morning, so a lot of these big hogs they already have blood, meaning that they're very dangerous. And he says, they'll chase you. And I'm like, okay, well, he says, I got 2 things that you can't do out here. He says, I'm going to take you out on snowmobiles, and we're going to take you out and we'll drop you off. And I've got a trail that he's gone around and made it easy for us to walk, so we're not walking in the snow up past our knees. But he said, I want you to stay on the trail. You got to do that. And he says, don't shoot any of the buffalo. I says, well, you got buffalo or you got bison? He says, oh, yeah. He says, I got buffalo, we got bison, we got all that here. I said, I don't want you shooting any of them. So if you see these hog, he says, look behind you and make sure that you don't shoot any of the buffalo. Okay. And he says, and don't go near any of the buffalo because they'll kill you. And I don't need that. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what are we getting into? So I'm thinking, he says, I said, I take a couple rifles, and we took a shotgun and a handgun. And my buddy, he's got your K-bar knife, your knife. So we head out, and he takes us to a spot, and we're walking around. Now, mind you, we don't know what we're doing. We don't even know what we're looking for. So we get around, and we see one of these hogs. Well, this thing's charging at us. And there's this massive blood. It was just like it was chaos where the blood was. Well, that's where that hog had been killed earlier. So this hog comes running at us through these thick pine trees. And this thing's going to, kill us. So the one guy, he shoots it, and he knocks it down. Well, it's still alive, and it's still coming. And the other guy I was with, he decides that, he's going to jump on it and stab it with this knife. I said, this is brilliant.
That's getting fun.
Oh, yeah. So he circles around at it, and he's going at it and going at it. Well, this thing's going to kill him. So the other guy, he takes it out. So we got the hog. And this thing, this thing's like 425 pounds.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah, and
Big boy.
the hair on these animals is really bristly. It's like quills almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very thick. So it's armor. So that first round just grazed it.
Oh,
And just aggravated it, made it angry. That's why it was even more aggressive. But when he did finally, he put it down. So the guy shows up, but meanwhile he says, "Oh, that was the other thing." He says, "I don't want you gutting it out there because there's that brings predators in because those hogs smell that." He says, "I'll hear you shooting. I will come out and we'll put it on a sled and we'll drag it back."
okay.
Okay. Well, do you think that we were really listening to that rule? Because the guy I was with, he was a physician, and he was studying to be an orthopedic surgeon. So he was really into anatomy. So he's gutting this thing. So he's laying on top of it. He's gutting this out, and he's taking out the lungs, and these are the lungs, and this is the heart, and he's very excited. And you've ever heard the term "bleed like a stuck pig"?
Sure.
Well, that's what was going on. So you think of 4 feet of snow that's white, all this blood, and he's covered in blood because he's reaching inside this animal, and he's got the parts out, and he's showing us all the stuff, and this guy shows up. And the guy's freaking out because he thinks one of us has been gored
Oh,
by this animal. So he's immediately going, "Is everybody okay?" And I heard all this shooting, and then there's all this yelling and laughing and screaming, and well, that was us because we were very proud of what we did. So meanwhile, he's looking at my friend. He's like, "Oh my God." He says, "We've been gored." I'm like, No, we're okay." He says, "Oh, we got to get out of here because this is what draws in these animals." So we load this thing onto a sled, and we head back to his house, back to the road. We get back there, and there's this big iron gate you close, and there's buffalo out there running around, and it is really nice. So we get back, and he says, "All right." He says, "So what do you want to do?" Well, meanwhile, these two gentlemen, one lives south, and the other one lives relatively close to in the same community that I lived in. So I said, well, if you can send it to the butchers and have it made into bacon and hams and ribs and all that, we would really like that. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And he said, and then I said, I'll come and pick it up because I lived the closest. And it was like maybe 2 hours away, north. All right, so.
Did you take it to a processor?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Okay.
He took it to a processor. So he was going to take care of all that. And I said, well, it's time to pay up. And he says, oh, yeah. He says, that's $180. I said, excuse me? I said, that's for all, per person, right? He says, no, it's $180 for all of you. I said, well, I thought it was for the three of you. He says, well, I could make it that if you want. I said,
Sure.
oh, no. I'm confused. It should have sent off a red flag, but it didn't. Because we got a hog, we had fun, and we saw some wildlife. We had a really good time. So I give him the $180, and he said, I'll give you a call. He says, processing's going to be probably about $150 to have all that stuff made.
Wow.
And he says, I'll have the processor give you a call and hook up when you come see him and all that. So I said, all right. So we jump in the vehicle, and we wiped off whatever we could, and we figured, well, we'd get to a gas station in this little town. We thought we'd get there, we could go in there and wash up. Well, this is when it gets interesting. Because we show up. Now, mind you, we're covered in blood. And we walk into this gas station, which you got to walk in, and you got to walk across the floor and go into the restroom in front of everybody. Now, mind you, the surgeon, he's covered in blood, like something bad happened. Well, immediately they're like, what's going on? Are you all okay? You been in an accident? I'm like, no, we were out hog hunting. And the lady behind the counter said, yeah, you outside. you can't be in here. I said, well, we just want to wash off. She says, you go out back. She says, you can wash off or rinse off out there. You can't be in here. You're all full of blood. Look at y'all. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we go clean up, and we go in there and get some snacks or something. And then we're driving home, and we're kind of laughing about it. Like, oh my gosh, this does look pretty bad. So we head home, and maybe a week and a half later, this butcher calls. He says, "Hey, I got your order ready." He said, "When can you come pick it up?" I said, "Well, I can come tomorrow. I'll drive up and I'll get it." "All right, that sounds good." So I drive up there. I walk into this processing place. It's just a butcher shop. I walk in. I say, "Hey, my name's Joe," and "Hey," and they start laughing. And I'm like, "Oh, did I say something funny?" And they said, "No, this is awesome." I said, "Yeah, I'm here to just get that hog." He says, "You got?" Yeah, we got everything. So he's loading it up. He says, "Let me ask you something. When you're driving down the road that day, did you see a hog hanging in a tree?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I totally did." I said that. He says, "And you stopped, right?" I said, "Yeah." "And you went out and hunted with that guy?" I says, "Oh, yeah. It was $180. It was great." He says, "Well, you do know that you were supposed to come and see me." I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "I'm the guy that you wanted to do the hunt with. This guy hangs a hog out in a tree, and as people are driving by, they just assume that's the place you go." And he says, "You didn't think to ask him, if it was me." I says, "Well, no, I never even dawned on me. There was a hog there. We pulled up, and the guy said, 'Hey, your guys are here to do your hog hunt.' I just assumed." And this guy's laughing. I said, "Well, I'm really sorry." He says, I didn't know." He says, "Oh, yeah." He says, "This guy's been getting business all winter long." I said, "Man, I'm really sorry." He says, I didn't know." And he's like, and then a few minutes later, this guy comes in. And they're all laughing. And I'm like, "What's the joke here?" He says, "Oh, that's my son." I said, "So your son..."
Is stealing your business?
He says, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." He says, we always gamble to see how many will stop and ask our name. And is this the right place to go?" He says, "You'd be surprised. You hang a hog or hang a deer and you do that, how many people will stop?" He says, "Quite a few." Well, we were those people. He says it was great. He says it's wonderful. He says, "We're not here to. This isn't our livelihood. Obviously, the butchering of all of this is our livelihood." And I said, "So what do you do with the bison?" He says, "Well, come back here." Well, they have this processing thing. These bison hanging there. Those are big.
They are big.
They are big.
I can't imagine you hanging a bison.
Oh yeah,
Hook.
yeah. He's got it's split in half, and he's up there hanging this thing, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So I got to tell you though, best ribs, best bacon was from that hog.
And I've heard that.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the ham or anything like that.
I heard the ham was amazing.
Well, I and it's probably how we cooked it because I wasn't from Texas at that time, and I don't really know that much about barbecue.
Beans?
There was no filler, so that's for a whole nother conversation.
Gotcha.
Don't even start that. You want to open that door?
No, we can't, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know what time we're getting at.
We probably got an hour in here. One more.
Okay, well, we should probably shut down here, and if anybody has anything requests that you want to talk about,
we can talk about it.
We're happy to hear it. So we like to only go 30 minutes, but we went a little long tonight.
Okay, we can break it up into two. We can actually break this up into two. We'll do this guy, that guy, a story on the hog hunt.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the first segment
for the baseball.
I think that works out.
I like that idea.
We might have it might be a little rough intro, but it will work out better that way.
Well, we'll figure it out from there. But it's been great talking tonight.
Once again.
Hey, we'll do it again. It'll be a great time. Just make sure that you like it. Send us any questions or comments that you have for it. We would appreciate it. So we're always looking for a conversation. So for this guy and that guy.
We're out. Bye, guys. Thanks.